Hi, this is Dave Ron. I'm in this collaboration workshop with you, and I want to ask you a key question. In fact, this question is the one that I think sort of holds together a lot of the ideas. These are three takeaway ideas for collaboration, and I frame them in this way. Do you have the cards that you need to collaborate well? Now, forgive me for being a bit cute on this, but I want to suggest to you that, first of all, there's a key card. I'm staying at the La Quinta here in Denver right now. This is the card that gets me into my room, a key card. It gets me into my room. In many ways, it's also the virtue that's most necessary to actually get you into the potential of any collaboration. You can see I attach it to the word humility. So a key card is the attitude of humility. It gets you access to the room where collaboration can happen. What I want to say to you is collaboration has potential if there's humility. If there's not humility, dead in the water. It doesn't take place. And that all by itself takes us back into a place where we have to sort of reflect on what we bring to the table and our own pride. There's a lot of scripture, and I would especially commend you to look at 3 John, that small little 15-verse book of the Bible, 3 John, because it's all about a guy who messes up collaboration efforts. His name's Diotrephes. And the bottom line is, the way that Diotrephes is described in the scripture is Diotrephes who loves to be first. Well, that's not humility, that's pride. And that pride kept Diotrephes from cooperating in ministry. Go check that out. Humility is the key card that gets you access into the room where collaboration can take place. Now the next card is a bank card. You can see this is my Visa, and I continue to hold my thumb over the numbers so that you cannot rob me. A bank card. It's an appreciation of diversity. You know, my bank card has so much limit on it. You know, I can go pay for lunch, I can buy some things, but it's based upon how much limit the credit card company has given me. In the same way, a bank card sort of represents to me the idea of potential. And that idea is connected to diversity. That seems strange. I'm not just talking about sort of politically correct diversity. I'm talking about all kinds of diversity. I'm talking about the diversity of perspective, of gifts, of experience, of background. The fact is, if everybody in our collaboration pool is just like me, I don't have diversity, and why would I collaborate? My assets grow. Therefore, the potential for collaboration grows when we have more diversity represented around the table with whom we want to collaborate. The people you want to partner with, do they represent different relationships, different skill sets, different passions, different approaches, different insights? If they do, you have a greater potential. Just like a bank card has greater potential the higher the spending limit is. So in that sense, it represents the assets that might be available for the collaboration. And the third, you can see I sort of represented my cards graphically too, as well as my little show and tell. But this is a golf card, and I intentionally don't have a score in this card, but the third card is a scorecard. And it's an acknowledgement that when it's all said and done, what we really aspire to in collaboration is not just sort of partnering around pulling off an event that's really cool. We can do those things, but that doesn't get God glory, and that doesn't produce the kind of fruit that has snowball effect in your community. The scorecard that matters most is whether or not the collaboration contributes to the expressed and visible unity of God's people in your area. So a scorecard is an acknowledgement that observable, spirit-given unity is the greatest outcome that you seek for. When you understand that, you'll keep things in perspective. If you don't understand that, you might lose sight of that. I remember a guy who was a worksite foreman for Habitat of Humanity. And somebody brought a bunch of young people, young teenagers to work on the project. And some of the older veterans who were really good at building, craftsmen and construction folks, were a little frustrated by these kids because they weren't contributing nearly as well, and they had to sort of be watched carefully lest they did some bad work. The construction or the project foreman for Habitat said, "Hey, it's better to build a kid than it is to build a house." What he had there is perspective about the relative worth of the project of building a good house versus the investment of changing a kid's life forever because you get to work with them well. This is what's at stake when you talk about collaboration. The big picture, the scorecard that always keep your eye on is, are we using this project to move towards an expressed and visible unity? Again, if you want a place to look for in Scripture that might describe that well, check out Nehemiah. Nehemiah built the wall. He mobilized the forces around the project of building the wall. But do you really think that was the big agenda? Nehemiah was about something much more significant than that. He wanted to unify God's people to once again worship God and give him the glory he deserved among all the nations. Listen, these are the three cards you need to collaborate well. Throughout this workshop, we're going to talk about humility. We're going to talk about diversity, skills that relate to these kind of things. And we're going to talk a little bit about unity too. But those are the things as you take them away that make the big difference in collaboration. I hope you have all three cards in your reach.